Hi everyone, welcome back to the varCODE EdTech YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to see how interpolation work inside AngularJS. So basically whenever you are working with the AngularJS you are going to work with the TypeScript, right? So as you can see that we have installed AngularJS inside our system, and in the previous video I have already seen that how to integrate the bootstrap, and we have already checked that the bootstrap is working now by implementing this bootstrap class on this button, right? Now we are going to see one important concept regarding the AngularJS, which is the interpolation, right? So we have you can see that we are having these four component inside app folder. So first of all, this app.component.css file. Inside the app.component.css file you are going to write all of your css, but we are not writing the raw css for this project. We are only going to use the bootstrap classes, so we are not going to work with the app.component.css. Inside the app.component.html file we are going to write all of our code. Now after this you are having this app.component.spec.ts file. This file is only going to be used for testing your project, but for now we are not going to test our project, so either you can delete this file or you can keep this file, no problem. Now later on we have this app.component.ts file. Now we are only going to work with these two files, which is the html and the ts file. So inside the ts file, whenever you are going to write the ts code, TypeScript code, you are going to write in this file only, and whenever we are writing all the html code which you want to show to the user, we are going to write in this html file, right? Now moving forward, I am going to explain you what is interpolation in Python, sorry, in AngularJS. Now inside this app.component.ts, see, one thing you need to remember, that whenever we are working with the TypeScript we need to work with classes and interfaces. Now why we use interfaces? See, whenever we are declaring any variable, and TypeScript is a statically typed language, so it doesn't know that what kind of variable you are giving to it, right? So whenever we are declaring any variable in the ts file, we need to give a variable name and its type inside the interface, and then you can directly use the variable by using the classes. You can see that we are exporting one class here with the name of app component, right? Okay, so what we can do, inside this video, as I said, like, we are going to do the interpolation. So interpolation is very easy part. So what you can do, you can see that now what is interpolation. First of all, basically whenever you are creating any variable inside this class, for example currently you can see that I have a title equal to cartoon. Now what I want to do is, I want this value to be rendered on my html file, right? So in this case this interpolation will come under the picture. Now what how we can implement the interpolation? So you don't have to do anything to implement it. What you can do, it's not a big part. What you can do, you can create one p tag inside your html file, and you can see that we have already created one variable with the name of title equal to cartoon. I guess it will be automatically generated inside your angular project also. Now what you can do, you can open one p tag and you can open two curly braces like this. Now inside these two curly braces you need to pass the title key, right? So you can copy this title from here, and if you pass this title here and save the file, right, you can see on my screen that cartoon is now here, right? So that's how we can implement interpolation. Interpolation will comes under picture whenever you are implementing any API inside this file and you want the data of that API to be displayed on the HTML file, right? HTML component. So we are going to use the interpolation. Now the interpolation part is completed. I want to show the details of this file directory of the angular whenever we create any angular project. So you can see this file directory is there. So we are going to see how these folders are working and when we need to use the folder, right? So first of all, we have this .angular folder. Inside the .angular folder you will be having every property which is related to angular, and we are not going to do anything with this .angular folder, but don't delete this, just keep it here. Now .vs code, now whatever the setting you have created inside the vs code, you are going to see it inside the .vs code folder. Now this node module folder, inside the node module folder, whenever you install any dependency inside your project, like in the previous video, if you remember that we have installed the bootstrap, right? So the bootstrap, all the code which is related to the bootstrap, all the files which are related to the bootstrap will be come inside this folder. So as you can see, the bootstrap folder is here, and I have three files. One is css, js, and dist file, right? So all the code related to the dependency will come and store inside the node module folder. Now public folder, we also don't need this. Now all the code whatever you are writing inside your AngularJS project will be there inside the src folder. Now after the src folder, in .editor config file, your all the settings which are related to your Angular project will be here, right? So we are not going to work with this. Now .ignore file, .getignore file, whenever you don't want to push any file on GitHub repository, then you are going to implement that, then you are going to write the name of that file, or you are going to give the path of that file inside the .ignore. Now later on we have this angular.json. Now angular.json will come in the picture whenever you are, see, in the last video also we have installed the bootstrap and we have given the path here, right? So whenever you are installing any dependency inside your Angular project, you are going to give a path here, not for all, for some only, and otherwise it will be having all the configuration related to your Angular project again. Now moving on to package log.json, then package.json. So if you have worked with the npm before, you know what package.json is. Whenever we are going to install our any of the dependency, you can see the dependency version and name inside this package.json file. Now readme.md, whenever you push this project on GitHub, this readme.md will work as a guide for your project. Whatever you want to write here, you can write. Now all these tsconfig, tsconfig.json, all these three files are related to the ts only. We are not going to work with them also. Now comes under the src folder. See, in the first video when I was explaining you about the features of AngularJS, I told you that AngularJS is a single page application. Now we will be having only one page. We are not going to create any other page inside the AngularJS. So as you can see that index.html is there, and it is the only single page which will be created inside the AngularJS application. Later on, these four files, we don't need these 3 or 4 files because we are not going to do any API fetching inside this project, right? If we do, we will do it in the last. So we are going to work with these 3 files in the last. In server.ts, you will be having your server, right? And all the API call will be from these files. Now if I talk about the index.html file, inside the index.html file, you will be, this is the only single page which you want to display on the user side, and you can see we have everything inside this page: meta tags, title tags. If you want to change this cartoon to something else, for example varCODE, we can do this like this. You can save the file. Now you can see varCODE is coming here, right? And you can change this angular icon. For now I will keep it the same. Now later on we can move into the app folder. Inside the app folder you will be having these multiple files, but as I said, we are not working with the server right now, so we don't need to check this server.ts and this server.ts file, right? Now the first file will be for the css only, the second file will be for the html only, and the third file will be for the app.config.ts. this will be your ts file, and yes, and then app.component.ts. so only these two files we are working with right now. And whenever you are creating a navigation inside Python, inside AngularJS, then we will be having this app.route.ts. we are going to define all the routes inside this file, right? Later on, see, whenever you are creating any Angular project, you will be having only single page, right? So here inside the body you can see that Angular has predetermined the app root tag here. Now from where this app root is coming, see, whenever we create any component, we will be having a selector, a unique selector for every component. So as you can see that we have this app component here. So if you open this app component and go inside the app component.ts file, you can see the selector app root, right? So whenever you create any component inside the AngularJS, you will be seeing a unique selector for every component, so that you can render that component as a tag. So whenever you want to render this component, you can copy this app root, come inside any of the files. See, whenever you are creating other component also, you can render these component inside this app or any other component. There will be no issue, right? So here we have rendered this as a tag, right? So that's how these component work inside AngularJS. Now most of the thing we have already done, and inside the component @component, this I will tell you later in the videos. Now whenever you want to import any file from the node module folder, firstly you have to import it like this here, and then you can pass the name inside the import, then only you can use the file or package inside your app.component.html folder, right? That's how it works. So yes, that's all for this video, and in this video you have learned how the interpolation works and what is the file structure that Angular provides us, right? And how we can import and export anything. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thank you so much, and visit on to our website www.varcode.in. And other than this, we are going to see in the next video. Okay, thank you so much.